The House is moving forward on President Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill. You've heard this so many times by now. You got three committees voting yesterday to advance some parts of the major budget package aimed at addressing the president's defense, energy and tax priorities. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion is following developments for us from Capitol Hill and can join us with more. Nikole, good morning. So which factions inside the GOP slim House majority are kind of working through kinks in the president's budget bill? Because it's a big ask, and they're not all necessarily on the same page.
Yeah, well, let's just update you on the state of play. Obviously, we saw, as you mentioned, these three committees wrap up work on this budget package. These were the most critical components of the package in terms of extending the president's tax cuts, dealing with this issue of Medicaid and potential reductions, and, of course, potential reduction of SNAP benefits as well, with the Agriculture Committee marking up its section. Now this all goes to the Budget Committee, which is going to try to wrap everything up in a nice, neat bow. But, as you mentioned, Speaker Mike Johnson still has to work out some of the differences among his conference. You have some more moderate Republicans who are a little skittish about some of these cuts, whether it's Medicaid or whether it's rolling back some of these clean energy tax credits stemming from the last administration. You have conservative Republicans who believe some of these cuts should go further. There's also this issue of the state and local tax deduction, which has been a big sticking point for Republicans, particularly in the Northeast and California, who want to raise that cap, provide more relief for families in their respective districts. So basically, the speaker today is going to get all these sides in a room together, members of the House Freedom Caucus, members of the House Ways and Means Committee, some of these SALT members who are concerned about the state and local tax deduction, and see if he can try to work things out, because he still would like to get this bill cleared by the end of next week.
And, Nikole, I also want to ask you about Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, because he testified before two congressional panels yesterday, and there was some protests that took him by surprise in one of them. What came out of his testimony?
Yeah, that's right. Well, look, this was the first time that the health secretary was here on Capitol Hill since being confirmed. The purpose of some of these hearings were on the president's budget, but also just to kind of provide some updates with respect to the agency. But things did get pretty tense as a lot of the focus of some of these hearings turned to the issue of vaccines. Take a listen to this exchange during a House panel yesterday morning.
If you had a child today, would you vaccinate that child for measles?
For measles, probably for measles. You know, what I would say is my opinions about vaccines are irrelevant. I have directed Jay Bhattacharya.
Sure. No, like I said, I don't want to.
So that everybody can make that decision. But I don't want to seem like I'm being evasive.
Yeah.
But I don't think people should be taking advice, medical advice from me.
Yeah, so that line getting a lot of pickup this morning, considering he is the health secretary. So, look, he was pressed further in a Senate panel later in the afternoon about his position on the measles vaccine. Just to be clear in terms of what his advice would be, he said that he believes that people should take that vaccine even as we continue to see an outbreak in different parts of the country. But he was also pressed a lot on some of the cuts that we have seen to the Health and Human Services Department. He has continued to insist that some of these are necessary to help save the federal deficit, but still very tense hearings here on the Hill, nonetheless, Errol.
Yeah. All right, Nikole, thank you very much.